This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Challenge against the leader of Morant Maroons fizzles. Colonel Wally Sterling's leadership of the Morant Maroons in Portland remains after 18-year-old Lamora Dillon's bid to unseat him failed to spark on yesterday's election day. There was hardly any support for Dillon, despite weeks of buzz since the teen announced that she wanted to end Sterling's 27-year rule. But officials from Morant indicated yesterday that the challenges were never legitimate, as there was no official sanction for an election. Any such election is deemed illegal, and I'm urging those seeking to disrupt the peace of the 9 Maroon communities in the Rio Grande Valley to desist, said George Harris, a member of the Maroon Council, the highest decision-making body for the Morant Maroons. To have a township meeting or a council meeting is the best way to decide whether or not there should be an election, he added. Around 4 p.m., Dillon made an appeal to persons who had gathered in the area. If there is anyone here that feels Colonel Wally Sterling is doing a good job for the Rio Grande Valley, do you guys feel that it is time for a change, she asked. The two questions were directed to an audience of no more than 10 people who converged near the monument of the Jamaica's national heroine, Nanny of the Maroons. Dillon then asked her few supporters to sign a petition demanding a change of the guard. Dozens of other persons were nearby but had their focus on a football game that was underway. The police were on high alert after Colonel Sterling expressed the fear that his life had been threatened, having received a chilling phone call that not only would he lose the election but also his head. Concerns were also raised over an unsanctioned stage show set to be staged in the community yesterday. The event was reportedly being supported by another Maroon chief, Colonel Richard Curry, whose image appears on a flyer along with that of a popular reggae artist. Earlier yesterday, international reggae artist Buju Banton and Curry, who heads the Accompong Maroons in St. Elizabeth, were separately barred from entering the Rio Grande area, the news learned. Commanding officer for the Portland Police Division, Superintendent Kenneth Chin, confirmed that the artist was stopped at a checkpoint and told to turn back. A similar warning was reportedly given to Curry. Police probe discovery of skeleton remains as a demolition halted. The St. Thomas police have halted a demolition exercise and commenced the probe after the morbid discovery of skeleton remains believed to be of humans at a derelict building in Morant Bay. The discovery was made about 9 o'clock Sunday morning during a demolition exercise that was being carried out by a team from the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation as part of a drive to knock down older structures in the parish capital. According to police reports, one set of remains was found in a coffin inside the building, and 2 other skulls were found elsewhere in the dilapidated structure, which is located across from the Morant Bay police station. The structure is said to have once served as a lodge building. Speaking with the news, a man claiming to be the caretaker of the building confirmed that it is known as the Loyal James Lodge premises. The caretaker, a former officer of the St. Thomas Fire Brigade for more than 30 years, who declined to have his name published, said that while he was aware that the building was due for demolition, he was surprised at the grisly discovery. I have been caretaker for about 3 years after the former caretaker died. The parish council told me that the building needs to be demolished, and I told them it needed planning because of its proximity to the Jamaica public service lines and its location being in the heart of a busy town, he said. Those sections of the building were not accessed by me given the state of the building and for fear that it would tumble down, he added. Head of the Roads and Works Department of the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation, Odell Felix, said that the unsafe building had long been listed for demolition by the local council under the Dangerous Structure Act. We have served a notice on the building for it to be demolished. There were no occupants and the owner of the building couldn't be located, so we put up a notice just to notify the public that it's going to be wrecked, he said, adding that in the past, vendors illegally used the sections of the structure. Felix also told the news that the space is sometimes occupied by a man believed to be of unsound mind. Councillor of the Morant Bay Division, Rohan Bryan, who was on the scene when the discovery was made, said he was shocked at the find. My band come to that building there, and not too sure what it was, but what I witnessed was them bringing down the casket on the ladder, and could see the skulls and remains. I was wowed. I saw other weird items like an old slavery pot and something like a coal stove looking thing, and a white enamel basin. A gentleman there said it is what they used to do some sort of steaming out. I don't know, but I can only say what I saw. But all I know, the police confirmed that they were real skulls, not dolly heads, he said. An elderly resident who requested anonymity said that she recalled 3 lodges operating from the space, 2 of which have been defunct since the 1970s. The third, she said, was shut down about 7 years ago. As BPO boom continues, wholeness drums up optimism. Jamaica's business process outsourcing sector has employed an additional 2,000 people with the opening of the Portmore Informatics Park in St. Catherine. The facility, which comprises 4 3-story buildings, was constructed at a cost of $3.6 billion, which included upgrades of the original buildings and the parking. It has increased the Port Authority's BPO space in Portmore by 300% and island-wide by 13%. In his keynote address, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the development was emblematic of the government's support of the global services sector and, more important, its strategic objective to make Portmore Jamaica's 15th parish. It is the fastest-growing employment creation endeavor in Jamaica, and regardless of the complaints, it is putting income in the pockets of over 52,000 Jamaicans. It is creating a basis and a ladder for progress, promotion, and prosperity, Holness said. The complaints to which Holness referred are persistent concerns that working conditions are akin to sweatshops, an allegation rejected by industry leaders. The Prime Minister said that Portmore has the highest concentration of university graduates and is well positioned to become the Silicon Valley of Jamaica. If we are going to rapidly build our economy, we need to create the infrastructure, the regulatory environment, and the safety and the security that our people can get employed, earn their living, fulfill themselves, and others can come, Holness said. He urged that greater focus be placed on Jamaica's education system to ensure that graduates steer clear of crime and violence, but instead make their labor available. Holness said Jamaica needs those who are in gangs to leave and join the labor force. We will train you. Put down the gun and take up a trowel. Put down the banger and take up a proper phone, he said in reference to lottery scamming. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Port Authority of Jamaica, Alok Jain, said another 147,000 square feet of BPO space is on the horizon for Phase 2 of the project. The success of the BPO in a case study in the resilience of Jamaica and illustrates what we can achieve when we work together across the various ministries and agencies of government with the private sector to achieve a shared vision, Jane said. The 157,000 square foot informatics park also boasts a BPO plug and a play incubator. Professor Gordon Shirley, PAJ President and CEO, said it will serve to reduce the barriers to entry and enhance Jamaica's value-added proposition to international investors. The industry's first 200-seat incubator supported 10 firms since inception in 2015. This facilitation continues with the Portmore Informatics Park with the establishment of an 80-seat incubator, Shirley said. Empathize with mental health patients. Experts are calling on Jamaicans to take a fresh look at how they view mental illnesses and mental patients. This, they say, is important to get a better understanding of people who suffer from their medical conditions, as well as to address the rejection and the scorn from the wider society. President of the Jamaica Enrolled Assistant Nurses Association, Esther Campbell, told the news that the neglect by the society places an additional burden on persons at the Bellevue Hospital who continue to be unfairly stigmatized even after making a full recovery when they return home. People need to understand that just as you can be afflicted with high blood pressure, diabetes, or a heart condition, mental illness is a medical condition which, if the patient is monitored and is on a regular medication, can be controlled or cured. So to continue to treat these people with scorn and disdain is unfair and places a double burden on them, Campbell said. Campbell's comment came during a visit to Ward D3 at the Bellevue Hospital, where gifts were presented to staff and the patients. They were also treated to refreshments. Gina adopted the ward some 6 years ago and has been undertaking a number of activities to make the conditions better for patients, most of whom are elderly and have chronic medical conditions. She said there is a need for much more assistance, especially recliners and wheelchairs that could facilitate the patients being taken out into the hospital yard, which would improve their chances of rehabilitation. Campbell also appealed for 2 television sets, which would go a far way towards entertaining the patients while helping some to maintain a link with the outside world. Given the advances in the medical sciences, Campbell is convinced that a little help from their fellow citizens could go a long way in helping to ease the plight of those suffering from mental health issues. She advised that persons willing to help them should direct their inquiries to the Bellevue Hospital or her association. Pregnant woman killed in Manchester crash. A pregnant woman died as a result of injuries she sustained in a crash on the Winston Jones Highway near Mandeville on Sunday. Preliminary reports are that the woman was one of 3 people in a Toyota Crown motorcar when the crash occurred. Another car, which was reportedly involved in the crash, did not stop. Firefighters were called shortly after 7 p.m. to extricate the woman from the vehicle. She was taken to hospital where she was pronounced dead. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.